Every year seems to bring new feuds into the world of hip-hop, and 2012 was no exception.
What do you think was the biggest rap beef of 2012?
Number 5, Rick Ross versus Young Jeezy. Ross and Jeezy have had a small beef going since 2010, but things blew up in a big way at the BET Awards in Atlanta. Funkmaster Flex was on the scene and he tweeted, "Jeezy and Rick Ross just had words backstage, pushing and shoving." We later learned that the fighting was mostly done by their entourages, not by the rappers themselves. Initial reports claimed that shots were fired and arrests had been made, but those turned out to be false. Whose side were you on?
Number 4, Pusha T versus Drake and Lil Wayne. This one is a bit complicated, so pay attention. In May, Pusha T dropped the track Exodus 23:1. The lyrics took aim at the Young Money crew, especially Drake. Lil Wayne responded by tweeting Pusha T and anybody that love him. Wayne then released a 90-second freestyle, Ghoulish, that called Pusha softer than a motherfucking Nerf ball. In July, Pusha contributed 2 verses to the new God Flow, a Kanye song off Cruel Summer. Most people thought the lines were directed at Wayne and Drake, but Pusha later said it was in response to Birdman trash-talking good music in an interview. The final shot was fired back in September when Drake made a subtle dig at Pusha during his performance at the Made in America festival. The feud has been quiet since then, and in a recent interview, Pusha even said that it's not a personal beef. Who got the best digs in on this one?
Number 3, Chief Keef versus Lupe Fiasco. This beef was so crazy it almost ended Lupe's career. Now, it started when Lupe told an interviewer that he was scared of the violent culture Chief Keef represents. Keef shot back by tweeting, "Lupe Fiasco a ass, and when I see him, I'ma smack him like the little bitch he is, #300. After some tense back and forth online, Lupe shocked fans by writing that his album Food and Liquor 2, The Great American Rap Album Part 1, would be his last, saying Lupe Fiasco ends here. Fortunately, calmer heads prevailed. Lupe later apologized to Keef, and he now shows no signs of leaving the game. Were you backing Lupe or Chief Keef?
Number 2, Nicki Minaj versus Hot 97. One of the biggest concerts of the summer was almost overshadowed by one of the biggest hip-hop beefs of the year. Nicki Minaj was set to perform at Hot 97's Summer Jam, but while introducing Kendrick Lamar at the show, DJ Peter Rosenberg said, "We're about that real hip-hop. I know there's some chicks in here waiting to sing along with Starships later. I am not talking to y'all right now. That bullshit." That didn't sit well with Lil Wayne, who tweeted, "Young Money ain't doing Summer Jam." Nicki backed him up, tweeting, "I go above and beyond for my fans, but won't ever go against Wayne's word. What he says goes." 2 days later, Minaj gets into it with DJ Funkmaster Flex in an hour-long radio interview with neither side willing to back down or apologize. 6 months later, things still haven't been settled. After the disappointing sales of Pink Friday, Roman reloaded the re-up, Hot 97's programming director Ebro said that Rosenberg had ended Nicki's career. She then demanded that the radio station stop playing her music. Was Hot 97 wrong, or did Nicki Minaj overreact?
Number 1, Chris Brown versus Drake. The biggest beef of the year had to be the fight between Chris Brown and Drake. In the early morning hours of June 14th, Breezy and Drizzy and their entourages got into a brawl at New York nightclub WIP. The reason? Gunna. Punches and bottles were thrown, several club-goers were injured, and Brown suffered a nasty cut on his chin. Although no criminal charges were ever filed, the nightclub did sue both men for $16 million worth of compensatory and punitive damages. And on a side note, a celebrity boxing promoter offered $1 million to each to settle their score in the ring. Sadly, they both declined. Who would you thought would have won that boxing match?
Those were our picks for the top 5 rap beefs of the year.
Which one do you think should be number 1?
Did we miss any?
Let us know in the comments below.